Welcome to Panels and Borders. I'm Dominic. So I haven't done a Star Wars video in a while. So I decided to do a Star Wars video because I've seen a couple articles that kind of tweaked my interest. So they're both from the website HN Entertainment. So the first one I want to talk about is basically what it sounds like to me is Disney is going to go off and lick its wounds from 2020 to 2021. So this is what the first article says. Kathleen Kennedy suggests no Star Wars films in 2020 to 2021. Rian Johnson working closely with Benioff and Weiss, and hints the Old Republic on the horizon. Well, right off the bat, I can't believe they're still giving Rian Johnson work after The Last Jedi. Blows my mind. But anyway, so I'm not going to go through the whole article. But just a couple things. I just want to show a few of the responses that Kathleen Kennedy gave to some of the questions. So basically, they asked her, was Star Wars going to be going on hiatus? And so she answered, we're going to take a hiatus for a couple of years. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy tells EW. And we're taking the time to really look at where this is going from the standpoint of a saga. We're not just looking at what the next 3 movies might be, or talking about this in terms of a trilogy. We're looking at what is the next decade of storytelling. Not all projects are being cancelled. A new series of movies from The Last Jedi writer-director Rian Johnson are still part of the plan, as are new films from Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. In fact, she revealed they are working in tandem. As they finish Game of Thrones, they're going to seg into Star Wars. Kennedy said they're working very closely with Rian. So basically it goes on saying it sounds like they're going to do Knights of the Old Republic at some point in time. But they're going to take a few years off. So I think it's because they felt the sting of the fan backlash against The Last Jedi. Knights of the Old Republic movie, that's something fans have been asking for a long time, either a movie or TV series. But it just seems like Disney they're out of touch with the majority of fans, what fans want. Like, nobody wanted a Han Solo movie, but they went and made one. Everyone wanted either a Ben Kenobi movie or a Boba Fett movie. Because it's really hard. I watched Solo on Netflix. I didn't go see it in theaters, but I did watch it on Netflix a little while ago. And it was better than The Last Jedi, but still it wasn't really a movie that knocked my socks off. It was kind of bland as far as Star Wars movies go. And the big thing about it is I just couldn't take the guy as Han Solo. I just really don't think that was good casting at all. Where if they made a Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, we have Ewan McGregor still. He's earned the role. He was the best thing about the prequels. To a lot of people, he is Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's just as much Obi-Wan Kenobi to me as Alec Guinness is. So that's what I really would have wanted to see. But they didn't give us that. They gave us Han Solo. So I'm hoping that we still get an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie at some point. That's something that... Because I'm not excited about anything that's coming out from Star Wars right now, but the announcement of the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie is something that would get me excited. And so I think they're going to go back and they're going to reassess, I think, because this is them basically withdrawing and basically regrouping from the fan backlash of The Last Jedi and figuring out how are we going to go forward. And with a plan. And that's what they should have started off with, because this new sequel trilogy, it's quite clear they didn't have a plan. And if they did have a plan, they strayed off of it when they did The Last Jedi. Which leads me into the next article. Kathleen Kennedy says Palpatine's return for Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker was always in the blueprint. Right off the bat, I'm going to call BS on that. So Yahoo goes on to ask... the big shocker, of course, is the reappearance of Palpatine. And basically they go on to say, was this part of the blueprint from the beginning? And Kennedy replies, this had been in the blueprint for a long time, yeah. We had not landed on exactly how we might do that, but it was always. And Yahoo asks again, was it always to be in episode 9? Kathleen Kennedy says, yes. So they basically said this was always planned out to have him in this episode. I'm going to call absolute BS. This is BS on Lucasfilm. This is a last-ditch effort to throw in this popular Star Wars character because they know they're losing fan interest. Sales for Star Wars is going down. Last Jedi made $700 million less than The Force Awakens. $700 million is a big chunk of money to Disney. That's really going to open their eyes. And Solo bombed on top of that. So this is just pulling out all the stops. I guarantee if none of that stuff happened, and if The Last Jedi was a big, huge, monumental hit, like some people claim it is, even though it wasn't, Rian Johnson would be directing this one. They would have fast-tracked his trilogy. We'd already be getting his trilogy. We'd already have something in the works. None of that is happening. So they know that they messed up here. And so that's why I call this, I don't believe this at all. I don't believe this is part of any plan. I don't believe they have a plan. And this is just basically what I would call last-ditch effort fan wank, throw him in there. Because it makes no sense, really, to put Palpatine in there. I mean, he was thrown down that reactor shaft. He was overthrown. Like, that whole arc is done with him and Vader. And if they're going to bring him back now, then that... see, if they bring Palpatine back in this one, and he was never really destroyed in Return of the Jedi, then that undermines that whole movie. It undermines all the previous 6 movies. The original trilogy and the prequel trilogy. And then is, like, Rey gonna then be the one to overthrow? Then really is... So, is it gonna go down like this? Is it gonna be that... Okay, Anakin really wasn't the chosen one. It was actually Rey the whole time. She really was a Skywalker. And she's really the one that finally puts Palpatine down? Is that so they're going to kind of retcon and undermine the other movies? It just seems like nonsense to me. I don't see this. I don't know how they're going to do this. And it just seems like everything from the Lando thing, and they're just throwing in everything from the kitchen sink. I think a better way to say they screwed up by killing off Snoke. Like, the bigger twist of the story would have been if they wanted to subvert expectations. How I would have done it, I would have had Snoke would have been one of Darth Plagueis' apprentices. And he was taken out in a lightsaber duel by Palpatine. They thought he was dead. He really wasn't dead, and he retreated to the unknown regions where he continued to practice in the dark side of the Force. And he stayed out of the way, and Palpatine and Plagueis thought he was dead. Then Palpatine went on to kill Plagueis and take over the galaxy and all that, and then he was overthrown. And then once the Empire was shattered, remnants of the Empire retreated into the unknown regions where they hook up with Snoke. And then Snoke uses that army to come back and try to take out the New Republic. To me, that makes more sense than, I don't know, but they killed Snoke off, so I guess Snoke's done. They're not bringing him back, so Palpatine's going to take his place in this one. So, I don't know. As for me, I watched the trailer. There were some exciting parts in it, but I'm not getting excited about Star Wars anymore. The only way I would go see this movie, this next Star Wars film, they would have to really knock it out of the park. Like, the reviews would have to be like, you have to go see this. This is like as good as Infinity War was. That's the only way you'd get me back. If it's anything, it was a solid movie, or it was okay, or it was media, anything like that, I'm not going to go see it. It has to be like really, really, really good, and they really knock it out of the park. It's the only way they're going to get me in the theaters to see this movie. And I don't think they're going to achieve that. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. Thank you to all of my subscribers, and thank you for watching this video. And if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for notification when new videos are uploaded.